Hey everyone, welcome to ZSR. We have another Z2R Max Rando race, Strand 4, between Dr. J and Bob the Elder. I'm starring with me on comms as Elendar this time. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a good night. I'm gonna close it out with a nice race here. Dr. J and Bob the Elder, both 1 and 2, but pretty competent runners coming up in the game, and should be actually a pretty close match.
Yep, Dr. J, been around a few years, I think. Bob this is his second tournament. We saw him in Standard last year, and has been improving.
Yeah, so not brand new runners, but newer runners. I'm gonna say newer runners. Not Jay Coper and Dig Shake.
Yeah. So it should be an interesting one. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a spoiler from our early scouting that we're going to be starting with all 3 of the potentially required spells.
Also, I apologize for the spoiler because I forgot the prediction from earlier.
Oh, and welcome everyone to our companion for this scene, Beeb, Beeb, Beeb.
Also, hi, we've got ourselves a vanilla shuffled west.
Yeah, and 2 lives, 1 heart container, basically the most brutal possible start.
Beepity beep. I am trying to not spoil the earlier race, as we find the medicine here. So, let me go get out that map of the overworld, because apparently I need it. Our vanilla starting location being at what my map labels as Secret 4.
Yeah, thankfully they're starting with the hammer here, so what ordinarily is a really obnoxious, brutal, segmented vanilla shuffle west is going to be much tamer with a hammer available to be able to get to various places, but I'm sure what our runners are going to be looking for very early is a heart container. Please, a heart container.
Because they both just game over. 2 hearts, 2 lives, 1 heart. This is going to be a tough one. But ourselves, Bagu's Woods has Bagu in it for a change. Nice.
Not quite vanilla. He's 1 tile south of where he's supposed to be.
Is that actually? Nice.
Yep.
And Dr. J not trying either bridge tile, which is interesting because those could be raft tiles.
Yep, still plenty of stuff to search here early on. We're going to see all kinds of stuff.
And neither of the... Okay, those were both bridge tiles as we get the candle on Dr. J's side, so Jay won't be hurt by not checking those 2. You can tell if it's a bridge tile or raft tile because a bridge tile will get you the encounter, a raft tile without the raft will get you nothing.
Yeah, both our owners picking up their candle here. All safeties in a scene this bad, very, very welcome.
Yeah, they'll take anything they can get. That is Jump Cave for the Mito Vanilla location. Kingstown location is just a swamp. Oh, it has a little bit of refill in it at least. And here is Rudo, which has Spell in it. Rudo being in the Island Palace tunnel entrance, per the map. Yeah.
Yeah, man, just so much stuff going on here early. Dr. J finding a fairy forest. I'm sure he was hoping it was a pea bag, but...
And Barbo slithers with a trophy, so they won't need to dig the item out of 6, which is nice. So they hope to not need to go into 6 anyhow, because it's a 3-gemmer.
Yeah.
6 can be kind of rough.
Hopefully there's other palaces that are available early on as Bob finds Magic Container Cave, and not too bad of an enemy set here.
Oh, this is pretty decent, actually. Although, as we say that, he takes a death. Dr. J behind. It's hard to get rid of these enemies here. Very, very cramped space.
200-point P-bag here for Dr. J is going to get him attack 2, life 2, magic 2. Yeah, just take all the levels you can get. We'll see if that makes Thunder castable. That would be huge.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a game over for Bob. On the other side, that's a one-up. Well, not what they want to see on a one heart container scene. The more junk items they see early, the less likely there are to find heart containers later.
Yeah, but it could be worse. It could be a red jar.
Could be a red jar, yes. A one-up is better than a red jar at this point in the seed. Because none of Fairy, Reflect, and Thunder, which they all started with, hilariously enough, are castable right now.
Thankfully, quite a number of these enemies rolled up.
And actually, speaking of, they do have to start with the raft, so they had locked on the two tiles next to in Bagu's woods there. It looked like bridge tiles. They would have taken a raft if that had been a raft tiles. Another game of Bob, ouch.
And Dr. J confirms Magic 2 is enough to cast Thunder.
Ooh, that's a rare. It takes out his entire magic bar, but it is castable, and that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it got him past those two gorillas. It's really all I could ask for.
Yeah, Bob heading south here, across to the Vanilla Saria area. That is a game over for Dr. J.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that for both of our runners, especially early on.
Earthy game overs. Yep, there is no avoiding that. Have either of them taken? No, that bridge tile north of Star is in fact actually a bridge tile. Remember it after a moment.
Yeah, Dr. J may be forgetting that he already has a raft.
Oh, there's a raft here. To the Vanilla Shuffled East.
Oh boy.
Oh,
just terrible, terrible terrain.
Raft at Secret 5 in the west.
Also, that is a magical raft taking you up into the mountains there.
Very magical. The other end of the raft tile taking to the northern end of the northeastern cave.
On the plus side, they'll be able to access quite a number of locations early on. We're not going to be blocked by logical progression so much as we are just combat.
Surviving.
Yeah.
Rauru is completely not necessary there because we started with it's trap 3 because we started with Fairy from it. Yeah, Vanilla Shuffled West, Vanilla Shuffled East. These runners are probably a little bit grouchy today with this one.
Yeah, it hasn't been a fun one so far. Here's hoping this is Rudo here from Dr. J. Nope, just Saria.
Saria. We saw Rudo earlier. That was south of the King's Tomb. Yeah, Heart Container Cave is... the Vanilla Heart Container Cave is where this...
Sorry, I said Rudo, but I actually meant Mito. I'm very bad at names.
You're fine.
The hope here is that our runners can pick up down stab and help out their combat a lot this early.
Yeah, okay. Parappa Cave entrance is not it. It is an item cave. I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking that there's a good chance that wherever... Okay, never mind. Here's Mito. I was going to say Mito might be in Parappa, but it's not. It's here in the Vanilla Saria location. I've lost track of the map.
I really like Dr. J's super safe beam stretch, just staying as far from the enemies as possible, not going to get hit, going to safely pick up his item.
Yeah, for those who were watching the race earlier, I have done it again in some ways. Well, they're having a fun time with this one. What? I just completely zoned out on the item there for Jay.
It was just a small key.
Oh, that hurts.
Up there with the worst items available. Just knock it even more small, minor items out of the pool. And the more of these, minor items that we're seeing in the drop pool early on, the higher the likelihood that our number of maximum heart containers is rolled somewhat less than max.
Yeah, and I'm afraid we can't get rid of the beeping. Bob has his mic on.
Yep, until Dr. J finds himself a heart container, we're going to be beeping for quite some time.
Yeah. And they might not find a heart container. There's never a guarantee. Max Rando sometimes just only gives you one heart container.
Yeah, it is. It is only a 1 in 8 chance, given that we're starting with 1, but it could definitely happen. All right, Dr. J makes it through the first half of Medicine Cave. And considering using Thunder to get past this Gorilla, I don't blame him. Does take out the first one.
And dice the next. And that's game over.
Yep, he had a impolite gesture in response to that on his cam. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I still keep rolling 1 heart container seeds.
It's star, The star seeds are famous.
They are. I do have an emote for it. And welcome Ready Player Jix to the ZSR Pillar. Bob, it seems we get to have fun watching these guys play through seeds as Dr. J takes another death.
Yeah, thankfully he did get together a lot of enemies. He's just getting like 4 enemies as good at once, just thunder them down, get some experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then this will fill up his magic again so he can thunder another set of enemies.
I'm hoping Bob checks out the vanilla starting area soon, because we haven't seen that bit of things yet. Needs to not die, that's a problem.
Yeah, not dying. Far from the easiest thing in this scene.
Yeah. That's a game over.
Dr. J thinking about where he wants to go next. Gets an encounter skip across this forest tile. This is actually really smart. And Thunder kills the red Dyra, 150 points. And here's Mito. So I haven't quite seen what Fairy is, but at Magic 3, should be able to get at least 1 cast.
Yep.
Yep, I'm sure all of our viewers and all of our runners rooting for a heart container. They would like it to not be quite so difficult. We would like the beeping to stop.
Yeah. The beeping is gonna get on everyone's nerves at some point. No, if you can't hear beeping, then that's more on your end, because we can hear the beeping. Chat definitely can hear the beeping.
And if you can't hear the beeping, consider it a blessing.
Yeah.
All right, the water of life getting put to good use here for Dr. J.
Yep. And yes, Tanner and I have rolled another 1 heart container seed. I do like to do this.
Yeah, so hopefully
this tournament won't be the last.
56, hoping to get a fire sighting soon. He did give it a try, so it's not fairy, shield, or jump. Gonna have to get into combat to get a better idea of what fire is linked to here.
Yeah. And it looks like we're not going to get to the Vanilla Death Mountain entrance there anytime quick.
Here's hoping it's Fire Thunder. That would be, as bad
be
as this seed is, that would probably break the combat wide open if our runners got reasonably early access to a Fire Thunder.
Yeah. Also, are we... Okay, so I think this is going to be our first setting of the Vanilla Start area, assuming Dr. J survives long enough to look at it, because Bob was trying and game over on his way up.
Yeah, Dr. J may be trying to make it back into the medicine cave that he died in again.
Yeah. Cemetery, I don't blame you for wanting to bail out for the beeping. It's a lot of beeping as Bob gets his small key. I mean, small key's not useless, at least.
Yeah, Fairy's still relatively expensive. So Dr. J making a second attempt at this cave. This time he's got life 4, he's got down stab, and he picked up an additional life on the way in the enemy pool, which is going to help him out a lot.
Yeah. Okay, manages to get through the first room.
Yep, and going to continue using thunder strats to get past these gorillas. Oh, he tried to jump over it so he could get the double, and unfortunately took a boomerang on the overhead.
Yeah.
Absolutely mean. Oh,
And that's a game over.
even at life 4, 1-hit kill.
And that's another game over for Bob as well. That cave is a rough time. But it's looking like they're bottlenecked into that vanilla, the area near the vanilla start, because I think they've seen all the other major tiles.
Yeah, we haven't seen the far northeast, but they also haven't found any way to access it.
No, they haven't found the Parappa Cave. And yes, this is a 2-heart container. This is a 2-life seed as well, Tannerin. You think I thought someone had their heart track in reverse? Well, it's just a beepity beep of a 1-heart seed. Bob's got a mic going, so he has a mic and no beeping. Dr. J is beeping and no mic. We're going with a beeping and no mic.
Right. If Dr. J can make it through this first screen without dying, he should. I think we're going to see probably more aggressive use of Thunder here, just to get past. He got them both on screen at once. So okay, Thunder's down the second one. We'll see what this third enemy is. Just a bit.
Yeah. And a magic jar. Oh, that's something, I guess. It's not what he wanted, per se, but it's not a 1-up, at least. It's not a jar, at least. 1-up would have been okay, so I won't say it wasn't completely... 1-up would have been totally useless, but would have been the best, as that's a game over again for Bob. This is a tough cave.
Yeah, I think the big value he got out of there was a 300-point P-bag from that bit. And if he can manage to get out, if he can, as I say, if he can get out into the overworld, he could probably pretty easily Thunder his way to an extra 60 points to pick up another level.
Well, that's 10, and that's another 10. Okay, even the Larudo spot is a swamp tile. At least it had a 1-up on it.
That's a pretty good game.
And alright, what my map calls a northwestern cave is the first palace we've seen. Jeez. P1 here, a dusty pink. Seriously, both of the other palaces on the west in the Parappa Desert?
It could be. It's definitely possible, and we're definitely starting to...
the rest of this place, at least.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to run out of places we can check. Okay, Dr. J does lock in attack 4. He's got good. 2 lives here still as well.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult.
I think they saw one of Fairy or Jump Cave earlier. I think it was Jump Cave, so they might need to take that, because I think they're running out of things to do as Bob finally gets that 1-up out of this cave. Is probably not amused by it.
Yeah, this Palace 1 is in logic, and it's not a bad dig. I don't blame Dr. J for taking a look, and here's his item, so maybe this is a progression.
That's the child.
Well, not immediately progression, but actually not at all progression, because our runners have started with all 3 of the progression spells.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have spell. They might need that. Well, no, that's in Rudo, never mind. So and that's the trophy. So they don't need... Yeah, they do not need that. Unless they somehow end up needing Jump, which is highly unlikely.
And Dr. J making quick work of those enemies, getting pretty close to another level. That's going to be the key, I think, to this seed, is being able to get levels safely without game overing. Start to make this combat at least a little bit easier. Yeah.
But anyhow, child acquired, on he goes. This is in logic with the fairy spell.
Bob is, I believe, found Parappa Cave.
Well, that does take him to the southern end of Vanillasaria, which gets him here, and that's back to start for Dr. J. Okay. Where's he going?
Out.
Thank you. That's obvious.
Just he doesn't. I think he's like, I don't want to dig around to this one, but I've got all this experience I want to preserve. I'm just going to take the walkout.
Yeah, and Dr. Bob here finding the boots in the western DM entrance there, south of Vanilla Saria.
That's slightly useful. We do know where the east is, and since it's Vanilla Shuffle, that at least turns on a couple different locations, as well as there's actually no guarantee that there are any travel caves in the north section of the east. Those boots may be required to get through to the rest of the east.
They might be. I actually forgot that they have Eastern Continent access. I was thinking that we're almost locked to the west by Pastor Caves, but they do have the east access. Whoops.
Yeah, but again, without those boots, there's not that far you can go into the east unless one of the trap tiles near Vanilla Darunia rolled a cave.
That's true. Yeah.
Though I guess also the bridge is there too, so there's another.
Yeah, the bridge
well, I guess that could be shuffled out too. It's everything
no, the
we
bridge
shuffled.
is always there, even in Vanilla Shuffled. I
Is
think.
it?
No, it could be shuffled. Never mind. You're right. I'm scared of reading.
Yeah. Dr. J has
Those
found.
shuffles. Where is the raft? Where is the raft tile and the other connector cave on the west? We haven't seen either of those.
Dr. J found the pass-through bridge, remembering the lessons from some of our races past. That could be very difficult, but unfortunately, it just leads right next to start.
Yeah, game over again for Bob. We haven't seen the island either on the west. Probably not much use. We have seen all 6 items on the west. So that's going to be 2 pass-throughs onto and off of the island. It looks like that, or like a junk trap tile over there. And that's Death Mountain.
In addition to Death Mountain, we actually get a sighting of the swamp where both of our remaining palaces are on the west.
Where are they? I've missed it.
Both of them are in the swamp, right next to each other.
Orapa, was it? Or no?
The swamp south of North Palace, yeah, where Vanilla 2 normally is.
Okay.
Dr. J thinking about Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we've seen the other end of Saria note from our tracker. Interestingly,
yeah, both of our runners found the front side, but I don't think either of them passed through it yet.
I don't think so.
Because with both of our palaces being in the swamp, that puts most of the remaining tiles up in the northeast, which probably means I wouldn't be surprised to see both the other end of Saria and the raft tile up there.
In Parappa, yeah.
And just have that be sort of a chained connecting pass-through.
I suspect so. And then maybe like the other. I think we saw Jump Cave. Don't know if you've seen Pharaoh Cave. That might, because it might be the island or some such thing. 2 dead ends in a row for Dr. J here in Death Mountain. And okay, yeah, the cave to Death Mountain is also in the swamp.
Oh, never mind. We have seen our raft. That was how Bob had gotten through to the east.
Oh wait, no, that was never mind. We're both scatterbraining, and it's just
it's hard. It's hard to keep track of shuffled west and also shuffled east. Dr. J confirming we got a caldera here in Death Mountain. Yeah, fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was wondering if that was mountainous or caldera there.
Yep, couldn't tell at first, but for sure caldera. And looks like Dr. J is pretty out of locations. He's going to have to head into the caldera.
Yeah, he's gotten pretty much dead-ended out of there.
Continuing, though, to stay alive in this Death Mountain. Pretty impressive, up to 335. Sorry, 345.
Sorry, I'm just sniggering at chat. Hi, Slabu. Yeah, we are not done. Welcome into Beepity Beep Central again.
Yeah, it's the Revenge of the Star Seed.
Yeah. I guess it's also mildly spoiling the earlier race, though at this point it's gotten implied a lot by now.
Yeah, I mean, spoilers for the first 2 seconds of the race.
Yeah, spoiler, I guess, that the last seed was also a one heart container seed. I and everyone else who watched the first race are getting really tired of the beeps.
Yes, you can turn low health off, beef off. It is an option in the randomizer that our runners are free to turn on or off at their leisure. Some runners like the beep.
But unfortunately, both Dr. J, who was the only useful audio this race, and Mirai, who was the only useful audio last race, keep the beeps on. So, beepity beep it is.
The true vanilla experience. Did we see that town all the way in the south there that Dr. J was looking at?
That is Rauru, I think. Yeah, I think that's Rauru per my notes.
Just trying to keep track. We still haven't seen the other set of Saria, but Dr. J, finding his pass through, gonna get his item from Heart Container Cave. Sadly, not a heart container.
Mm-hmm. I may be wrong, though. My notes have been a bit of a mess. And there's some boots for Jay, so that's a good find. And this bridge tile does lead to
Yeah, it's a cave of some description, but Bob is saying, forget it. There's a easy to get item right here.
It's a pass-through, and he doesn't feel like doing the pass-through.
Yeah, why not? You got boots.
Yeah. And that's a bridge, Bob. You didn't need to check that because you've already seen the raft tile. I would, however, check this forest tile because this might be something useful.
Yeah, like experience.
Yeah.
Or a fairy. Health at a premium. Might as well get more.
Yeah, that cave there on the shore is useless. The swamp tile, fun.
Yeah, I think if he's got the jump spell, he could get whatever the small item here is, but
yeah,
fairy spell gonna limit his options.
Yeah, and that's a game over.
Yeah, Dr. J, I don't think he's seen the east yet, so he's gonna have to.
He has. Our notes note that the raft tile is at Secret 5. And the Secret 5 is south, pretty much directly south of Bagu's Woods.
Well, it looks Dr. J is going to check the swamp. Maybe he'll check out these palaces while he's here. He'll probably at least stick his head in, but if he didn't want to clear out one, a relatively low likelihood that he's going to stick around in any other dungeon, but who knows? You know, he already got the item from Palace 1. Maybe he's just looking for more items.
Maybe. I mean, I would be looking at hearts, the glove. Here's 3 or 6 being a very pale purple.
Yeah, a heart container would be basically the best possible item.
They want a heart container this seed. Bad.
I'm really hoping there are a whole bunch of them remaining in it for our runners, but
well, this is a 6.
Yeah, that's
not quite what he wants to see per se. 6 usually on the more irritating palaces to dig through.
In addition to it being irritating, we also know what the item is. This is the trophy, so not going to be a heart container or any other required item.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I'm willing to call a heart container a required item.
I would on 3 lives and no heart. On 2 lives, you want more than 1 heart container. Hey, Trails. Yeah, it's like Yarseed, but with less lives. And more spells. And it's, well, I won't spoil the seed further. Trails and Mirai did have more than 2 lives earlier.
Yeah, two lives, 1 heart. Just absolutely brutal.
It is. It is Beep Central today on ZSR. Yes, Trails, this is 2 lives. We have seen a lot of game overs in the last half hour.
Yeah, Dr. J, though, I have to say, has been doing his biggest advantage right now isn't necessarily exploration. He's been doing a pretty good job of at least locking in levels one by one before he takes a game over. And that's meant that he's got a significant level advantage.
Yeah. Dr. J getting the Doom Knocker into the lava pit the second try. First time he got it in the pit and left the room, so I had to redo it. And then takes a death. It came out.
Those fires without gloves are just absolutely rough. I think it's a 1 or 2 frame timing to make that jump.
Mm-hmm. And P5 is also here in the swamp.
How unpleasant.
The 2 late game palaces are the ones in the swamp. Yeah.
At least this one might have a heart container in it, as opposed to 6, which just has the trophy.
Yeah.
We'll see if Bob decides to dig into palaces here or go back to the east and see if he can make it a bit further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Trails, I don't play one heart container seeds, and I don't do Max Rando personally. I'm just not that good at Z2R in terms of actually playing the game. Have you seen my sense of direction? But when I do, so I usually don't mind the beeping since I do find it somewhat useful as someone who only plays on higher heart counts. But for when you play Max Rando, I would highly suggest turning the beeping off. The beeping is a thing. I've been listening to it for the majority of the past 2.5 hours.
Yep. Dr. J gets sick of trying to fight that blue iron knuckle, just thunders it down, but makes it a good 1 screen in before the enemies do him in. Meanwhile, Bob the Elder has found a sunken pea bag cave. Maybe this, I gotta keep saying, is a heart container.
You're hoping, Elendar. You're hoping to commentators curse it in, but nope, it's a magic jar.
That's between Dr. J and Bob, we've now gotten sightings of, I believe, all of the magic containers. Is that accurate? No, it is not.
No, we've seen
it's 6 versus 7.
Yeah.
Dr. J's trying to jackhammer down the Mago, but just gets a little bit beat up. I think he might try and set up a Thunder here. Yeah, 500 from the Magos. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. Bob seeing that the Darunia location is just a lava tile and there are no other special tiles up there, so he smartly decides he doesn't want to spend the time on the encounter because it is useless. The only special landmark tile up there, because only the landmark tiles are shuffled. Everything else is vanilla and vanilla shuffled. It's just landmarks get moved around. Landmarks being towns, palaces, caves, and the trap tiles, basically. Anyhow, all of that was not much help in Darunia, so that's him out of there.
Dr. J successfully locking an attack fort here, though. Making progress bit by bit.
Yeah, Bob's just not been able to survive long enough to get higher levels, which has been really tough. It's one of the challenges of a low heart seed and low heart and low life in this case. Is that just survivability really is hard to get levels. You need levels to survive, but you need survivability to get levels.
Yep. And I think the big key to Dr. J's success with leveling so far has been his use of the Thunder Spell. He's done a really good job of setting up screens with 2 or 3 different strong enemies and just thundering them down, picking up 400 or 500 points.
Alright, Vanilla the Brewer location was a just encounter. Okay, Life Spell is nice.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Ish.
It'll be nice as their life levels increase. Right now, for Bob the Elder, every hit he takes is more or less going to be a one-shot.
Yeah, I also missed the item in the old lady there.
It was a small key.
Oh no. The seed. I think we've seen sufficient junk items to conclude that there are less than 4 heart containers in here. Because I started Hi Starfall, welcome back to the beeps.
We started off with a couple. We had the raft and the hammer to start, so we can
Okay, we did. So that 100%. Never mind. Then I'm scared of raining with seed bleed a bit. But yeah, I'll come back to the beep Starfall, and yeah.
I was hoping we had a boss sighting here, but
Alright, Vanilla Raft tile location is just a pass through, and that's another game over for Dr. J, who finally decides he doesn't feel like this P5. I don't blame him. And a different note, I'm thinking this flute's required wherever that's gone off to.
yeah, wow. Even in Vanilla Shuffle, the River Devil blocks your way, saying no.
Yeah, Bob's gonna, if he can survive, try to go east and see what's over there on this southern shore of this big old bay, I guess.
I think he already spotted that it was just a swamp tile.
Oh wait, no, you're right. We did spot it was just a swamp
Yeah,
tile, so you can't get
I
there.
don't know if we've seen the far west end of the section that he's in right now.
We have. We saw the Vanilla Raft tile area. I think he's currently trying to go for the. Oh, that's just a dead end.
It's just a pass through to itself.
Bob, I think, is looking for the Vanilla Nukasudo location to pass through to get there.
Yeah, if there's no pass-throughs here, that is going to mean that our flute is going to be required to progress. And if it is, based on the knowledge we have, it's pretty much got to be in Palace 5.
Yeah, we saw the item in 1. We know the item in 6 is the trophy. We've seen all 6 items in the west. We've seen all the accessible items in the east. It appears.
Yeah.
If this pass-through cave ain't it, I think we're stuck with 5.
Yeah, hopefully for both of our runners, this pass-through cave leads to somewhere helpful.
Yeah, it's the game over, so he can't find out just yet.
Invisible Moas.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Parappa or the desert or the island on the west, but we have seen all 6 item locations, all 4 towns, and all 3 palaces on the west. So we know that those 2 areas can't have anything super interesting. Vanilla shuffled east means that they have a raft tile and we should have a bridge tile, but we can't find the bridge either.
Oh, one location we haven't seen yet that we do still have access to is Hammer Cave. Dr. J,
that's a point.
Which is probably not much better than Palace 5, to be honest, but if it comes down to Palace 5 versus Hammer Cave, I mean, I'd probably take Palace 5, but I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah, because Hammer Cave isn't a caldera Death Mountain, which are not the most fun to dig.
Yeah, and pretty sure Bob has checked most of the side pre-caldera, so you're going to have to at least take a few caves to cross the caldera on, very, very low life. Although Dr. J at least is up to life 5 here. He's starting to push through to decently survivable territory.
Yeah, poor Bob still hasn't been able to survive long enough to get his levels up.
Yeah, hopefully in this Palace 1 he'll be able to find some more easily defeatable enemies, help get some of his experience up.
This here is a fairy or glove blocked room in 6, luring the red iron knuckle out. Good.
Oh,
and then, oh no, that's not a fun time.
Okay, Fire is thunder!
Fire is thunder, nice.
Wow. Okay, that's going to be a huge advantage for, at the very least, Dr. J knows it. As soon as Bob finds it out, it's just going to help out a ton with their combat and their experience gains. As Dr. J has found the item room here in 6, he's going to get his trophy and be disappointed.
Bob has found the item room in 1, but can't survive long enough to get it, as there's the trophy for Jay. So that does get them a spell, which does get them one more item in New Kasuto, something I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they can... did they find New Kasuto yet? I didn't actually...
That was the southern and the northeast cave, like the one that leads from the vanilla starting area in the east to the northern bit. That thing.
Okay, right. That's where the life spell was. So yeah, I mean, every item that you can gain access to that doesn't require you digging into Palace 5 or 6 is a big win. And that was a Thundercast of some shape from Bob. I think Bob has also figured out that fire equals thunder, and once he gets up to a little bit higher magic levels, he's going to be able to exploit that. Dr. J still hasn't found the East.
No, and that's going to hurt him.
Yeah, because at this point he's gotten 2 of his 3 palace items and all of his available overworld items. It's either he's going to have to find the East or he's going to be going into 5 or Hammer Cave, neither of which are fun.
No. Yeah. So there should be we've seen 2 of our 4 continental connectors. There should be 1 continental connector cave. The other connector cave should be from either Parappa or the island in the west to somewhere else, either the other side of Death Mountain or Mace Island, and then the ridge tile is somewhere in the southern part of the east, and that should lead them somewhere else, but we can't get to either of those, which isn't helping. Mace Island until they figure out more of this vanilla shuffled, which is not a fun time.
I think Dr. J has spotted the raft tile that he didn't check, and he's working his way down there now.
That is good. Bob is taking a wander. And there we are, finally, for Dr. J.
He's going to find his entrance to Death Mountain and maybe give this a stab.
I think this is a good idea for Bob at this point. I mean, it kind of sucks, but he's done a lot of stuff, so what can you do?
Unfortunately, all of his options kind of suck.
All of the options kind of suck for both of them as Bob takes a lava bath.
Yep. No indication whatsoever about how effective life spell is. It recovers 100% of their life.
Do I need to get Z2 edit out again?
It's gonna be 1 bar. Don't worry.
It sure feels like it, to be honest, with the number of junk items we've seen so far. Nice save for Dr. J.
Yeah, unfortunately, all of the pass-through bridges in the east don't lead you anywhere. This is gonna stick it right back out where he started, but now he knows. And the loss of magic isn't going to cost him that much because he's going to be able to fill it up in town here in just a second. Bob is rechecking stuff at this point. I'm not sure where he's planning on going. He's got a lot of options. They're still all terrible.
And apparently it was 7 magic jars for that uselessness, that small key behind the old lady, because Dr. J can't get it.
Yeah, I think he's going to be upset by that, but he doesn't know that in reality it's completely useless.
It's just a small key, which he definitely would prefer to not get. Welcome in, Sentai Lord 29020, rating with the party of 2. Apologize for the beeping. We've got a 1 heart container seed.
Yeah, it's been painful so far, and the pain doesn't look like it's going to let up anytime soon.
No.
This is the true spirit of Max Rando. But we are going to see a new item here from Dr. J, having gotten his trophy, used his spell, and he'll be rewarded with a P-Bag.
Yep.
It's not a heart container.
No, it's not a heart container. It's not even the glove. It's not a flute. It's not even the cross.
Yeah, oh man, the cross would be great right now for our runners. There's still that pass-through cave that Bob wasn't able to get through dying to invisible Moas.
And that might get us to the southern part of the east, or it might get us over to the new Vanilla Nuka-Pseudo location.
Yeah, one possibility though for Dr. J, he may not have the cross, but with his magic 5 and 6 bars, he'll be able to very aggressively use this Fire Thunder to sort of just speculatively look around for Moas.
Yeah.
He's going to get confirmation that this is all useless. And Bob taking a game over in Death Mountain, gonna revisit, try to get somewhere else. Life 6 for Dr. J. Gonna continue to help him. At this point, when you've only got one container and you're kind of fearing that you're not going to get any more, at least once you get to Life 6 or Life 7, you can be like, okay, I'm fairly confident I'm not going to die in one hit to most things. Obviously, getting bodied by a bird knight is going to kill you no matter what, but at least being able to live through a beam or something is a sigh of relief. As Bob takes another game over, and Dr. J gonna get some more disappointment here on the coast.
Yep, he's like, oh great, just a swamp tile. Brilliant! Yeah, I don't think he's gotten to the point he knows that there's one pass-through cave that might be a savior, because it's that or it's that one pass-through cave. I don't think this is the one, by the way. This is for Bob. It's the one pass-through cave we haven't seen the end of yet. This one pass-through cave, Hammer Cave, or P5 are our only options for progression.
Yeah.
Vanilla shuffled west, Vanilla shuffled east, and the Caldera Death Mountain just throwing everything into a wrench. Oh, actually, never mind. That is useful.
Dr. J does manage to pass through, and it's going to be another item.
Oh, wait, no, this is like... Okay, I just lost track of pass-through caves, then. Yeah, this is another item. Risen P-back cave here. I thought this is one we'd already seen, the pass-through cave that Dr. J took to get here, but I guess I got lost again. Never mind.
Yeah, the east is confusing.
It is, and their item here in the Valley of Death is...
Please be Harkitator, please be Harkitator, please be Harkitator.
Nope! Just a jar.
Every time we find a red jar or a 1-up or something like that, it's just another Harkitator that probably got kicked out of the pool.
It probably is, honestly.
Oh boy.
And with a 1 heart start, they were probably going to have less than 8 hearts to begin with, even if there weren't any removed from the pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's the if you have a 1 heart start, the maximum number of hearts is evenly distributed through the entire range. So you're not likely to get all the way up to 8, but you are decently likely to be able to get up to at least 5 or 6. But 1 heart start, 1 heart max is 100% in logic.
We have seen it. Oh, Parappa has the cave to Maze Island. Interesting.
Wow, yeah, I think Bob the Elder took that fairy cave that we had never checked before, and it led through to Maze Island, and with the boots, hopefully he'll be able to pick up 2 items here fairly safely.
Hopefully, and the palace is pretty accessible too with boots. That's good. And there's GP in Maze Island. Okay, there are 3 accessible palaces or 1, 5, 6 in GP. Ew.
Yeah. I think it's pretty likely our runners are going to find their way to the east and do some of the palaces there rather than try to dig out 5 and 6 as their last 2, but...
Yeah, I think they're going to at least try to find a flute. 5 and 6 and 1 heart and 2 lives is not a fun idea.
Yeah. Looks like Dr. J has 4 casts of Fire Thunder at this magic level, which is pretty good. It's gonna help him get through another extra life in the large enemy group. So Dr. J is actually making pretty quick work of this East. Hasn't taken any game overs. But, what's important here in Maze Island, and also more importantly, when our runner's going to find all this stuff.
Yeah, welcome in, Chaos Wanderer in chat. Welcome to the beepity beep.
Yeah, Star rolled a certified star seed up here. It's a mess, but our runners, honestly, making better progress than I expected. Even this has been a really rough one, both in terms of routing complexity and combat difficulty.
Yeah, this has been a really, really tough one. They've both game over several times. They've had a very hard time surviving anything. And it's a 2 life seed to go with a 2 heart seed. To the 1 heart seed. There's a glove, finally. That's some good news.
It's the second best thing he could have possibly found.
Honestly, I'm surprised that they didn't Mercy roll it either. As Dr. J gets the whammy and gives the middle finger. That's his opinion about that small key.
Yeah, that's very sensible.
I don't blame him for giving the middle finger. He's mad.
Yeah. The one saving grace our runners have had this seed, Fire is Thunder. And Dr. J passing up attack 5 to get magic 6 is how much respect he has for Fire Thunder.
Yeah. But yeah, we've seen an inordinate amount of junk items, so the odds of us having any hearts in this seed seem to be slim, as Bob finally finds the other item in Maze Island. This is another magic jar. Well, that's all 8. Okay, I mean, it's not another pea bag, at least, so it could be worse.
Yeah, anything remotely resembling a safety is something our runners are going to be thankful for. The cross, 8th magic container, sure. I'll take it.
Yeah. Bob, where are you? I was going to say, Bob, you've seen both items and the palace here on these.
Yeah, I think he was just looking to see if there was an additional connector there, but there is not.
So, that was helpful. The glove does get them guaranteed clearability of palaces, but it's not overworld progression, and unless they really, really, really want to do P5 and P6 and 1 heart and 2 lives, they want to get some overworld progression done.
Yeah, Dr. J made it through that pass-through that Bob had game overed in previously. It did lead down to the vanilla New Casino area, but unfortunately, nothing there.
Yeah. And yeah, checking, neither runner even mentioned anything in the Mercy roll. I personally would have probably done so on the beepity beep.
Yeah, so interesting thing here now. Since Bob the Elder's found the glove, they know where, with that Maze Island sighting, they have 3 palaces. They can get access to the glove, and they can get access to GP. We've been talking about trying to find the flute, but it's very possible that our runners may just say, forget it. Slog their way through palaces 5 and 6 and just forget the flute. River Devil be damned, because at this point, again, where could that flute possibly be?
5, honestly.
It's 5 or Hammer Cave. We haven't seen the water tile, but Dr. J has checked everything that you can get to now on the east. It's not there. The water tile is behind that River Devil.
They've checked between them, they checked all of the pass-through caves on the east. It has to be Hammer Cave or P5, which are just such a terrible suggestion, but that's where they're at.
Yeah, but Dr. J, with Magic 6, he's got 11 points for a Fire Thunder. So he's going to be able to just kill all the enemies on the screen about 8, maybe 9 times. I'm not going to do head math. Actually, I am going to do head math. It is, in fact, 9 times. And 9 casts on a life is absolutely huge. It's going to be really helpful for him. I'm a little confused why he's taking this particular routing through Death Mountain. He's checked all these caves for me. He just forgot it's been at least a half an hour since he's been here, but he's checked all the caves on this side of the caldera. He needs to head into the cave that crosses it.
Honestly, at this point, P5 would be a fairly sensible dig for them both. It sucks, but it's one of only two item locations left accessible, and you might as well at least try and beat Guma while you're in there.
Yeah, I'd be a little hesitant at Bob's current levels to want to hop into Palace 5, but at Dr. J's levels, it's actually probably very reasonable, especially considering he's already explored, not a ton of it, but at least 10 rooms or so. And, with his significantly higher levels now than he had the last time he was in there, he's going to have a much better time of it.
Chat saying 5-6 with 1 heart, 2 life does not sound like a film. That sounds like a star seed and entertaining.
Yeah. It's a star seed, all right. Some people like really difficult seeds.
I know Trails was fairly amused about the 1 heart earlier. These guys are probably less so. At least with Dr. J's facial expressions, he's not thrilled. I don't have Bob's audio on, but he does have mic on, and I'm sure he's not happy either about this.
Yeah, Dr. J taking an unfortunate death. Decided he wanted to downstab that red dire to death, but I mean, honestly, yeah, just fire it. Just fire everything. Don't fight. Just press the button that kills everything on screen. Especially if your magic is fairly high. The worst thing that can happen for Dr. J is taking a death when he's still got a bunch of magic in reserve. He's wasting, free screen clears.
Yeah. And as we approach the armor here, shout out to our runners for putting up with this miserable seed.
They're the true heroes putting up with this.
They are. Shout out to Dr. J and Bob the Elder. Thanks also to Elendar joining me for this, and to our tracker, 4VT Slacker, has been tracking this beepity beep mess as well.
Yeah, thankfully you can probably track without the audio decently well. I don't mind it that much, but it is. I'm certainly not a fan of beep strats. Ooh, Dr. J. What?
Ooh,
Dr. J has found the connection to the south, the water tile palaces, the absolute jackpot for Dr. J.
That is a great find. The bridge tile there at trap 15 per the map.
Yeah, magical key also a great find. The only thing that can make this better, we get a sighting of a hard container here. I'm praying. Give me a hard container.
Yeah, what was the palace in 3i? I missed it.
I also missed it. I think it might have been 2?
It was one of 2, 3, or 4 at least.
Yeah, Dr. J did not mark it on his tracker, so.
And the entrance to the Valley of Death has ourselves Old Pseudo in it. That is interesting.
Dr. J correctly using Fire Thunder as a MOA detection spell. Press button, be safe. And I'm with the old man here in Old Kasuto.
That was Jump, which puts Shield in Darunia today.
Yeah, I mean...
And that is a game over. Ouch.
Yeah, Dr. J has the child. If he finds Darunia, 100% he's gonna go pick up that shield spell, but...
and apparently the Three-Eyed Rock was a Valley of Death cave. Never mind.
Okay, not an actual palace.
Okay, just the overworld looking funny, because Vanilla Shuffle does some funky things. We've seen a lot of funky things about Vanilla Shuffle today here.
Yeah, but
including why we don't usually have this straight vanilla and vanilla shuffle enabled in standard, because it is incredibly linear and very annoying to play when it gets like this.
Yeah, it's either linear or a complete mazy mess. And this time, especially starting with the hammer, we ended up with the latter. Bob
Yeah.
Bob is still hammering away on
Well, we
6
got
of.
correction. We got one of each. The west is a mazy mess. The east is extremely linear. I think.
Okay,
Oh, no, kind of both, really. Yeah.
Dr. J is going to revisit Palace 1. He's
This
already got
is a
the item in
mazy
here,
mess.
but I like this decision in the sense that he feels confident that he can beat Palaces now, and he's gained enough experience that this gem placement is going to be valuable pretty much regardless of whether he gets a level in here or not.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Vanilla East map to see what our most likely possibilities are for the remaining 2 palaces on the east, because we haven't seen either of them. One of them might be in the Valley of Death someplace. We only saw a small bit of it earlier. The rest of it could still have a palace in there, and then the other one's probably in the northern part of that. Either the Vanilla Nucasudo location or just the general big area south of the River Devil. There's a few different spots it could be at.
Yeah, if I had
Glove
to,
is in the east. I don't know where exactly, but it's in the east.
Glove was on Maze Island, I think.
Oh, I know it is Maze Island. Never mind. I can't read my own
Yeah.
notes sheet again.
Yeah, the Dr. J has not. The connection to Maze Island is in the west, but Dr. J didn't find it. You have to find Fairy Cave and then head up through it with Fairy. And I think when both our runners first found Fairy Cave, they didn't have enough magic to cast it.
Yeah.
But right now, our only connection to the southern half of the east is through this Death Mountain. And Dr. J got there and got a few items, but is having a difficult time getting back, not looking happy with himself with that death. And while Bob's having a time here in Palace 6, he is getting a lot of kills. I think a big difference here is Bob either hasn't figured out that fire is thunder, or he's just not comfortable using it as aggressively. But it's getting into a lot of situations. If you're fighting multiple difficult large enemies, just blast them, especially when you need the experience this badly.
Yeah. Like, okay, thank you. Jeez. Does decide to use Thunder there, and gets a blue jar, which helps a bunch. Really avoiding that bubble, because those will drain your magic, and he does not want that. Nice 200-point P-bag. But yeah, linear is all heck out east here. Just every Death Mountain here, you have to go through several caves to get to that.
Yeah, just every connector kind of sucks.
They do.
Takes a long time to get anywhere you want to go, and you're so fragile that a death can put you back 5 minutes, and there's nothing you can do about it but head back in and try it again.
Yep, and Bob doesn't have downstep thing. He's going back out of that room there, because that one is tricky. It's just if you have only glove, I think it's down stab block to go from left to right there. Yeah.
Dr. J does get to use the thunder spell. I'm surprised he didn't go get the jar.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. It's not that much.
Hey, Drosy, welcome back. More beepity beep. And yes, it's still a 3-gemmer. Or 3-gemmer.
Dr. J is varying up his route here. He knows how to get to the east, but it looks like he's instead taking some of these other connectors. I think he's looking for Hammer Cave.
I think he is. It is a reasonable idea for him.
If he can find the flute, that's a huge shortcut through to the southern half of the east. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
Bob has found a Rebo.
It's not being nice as he game overs.
It's always sad to find Rebo. Oh, hey, here's Hammer Cave. So it's sad to find Rebo and you don't know, is this pass-through Rebo and I just have to keep slugging on forever, or am I actually in item room Rebo and I'm jumping for joy? Dr. J trying to fight a couple extra enemies. He doesn't want to lose this XP. He wants to pick up attack 5 here, especially since he still hasn't completed any palaces. So the more experience he gets prior to doing them, the more he's going to get big level ups. And I'm sure with how inevitably difficult GP is going to be, our runners are going to be wanting to be on as high as levels as possible heading into it.
Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's the flute!
Flutes!
The River Devil, extremely valuable in this sea. That's going to mean instead of having to go all the way through Death Mountain at the southern end of the east, he could just walk down the road. But I suspect since he's already most of the way to the east, he's just going to walk it out and take this route one last time. Also, welcome, Mirai. Yeah, it's a mean one. It's real rough.
This one is very, very mean, yeah. It is once again a 1 heart seed, as you can tell by the beepity beep. It's also a 3-gemmer. They only have 2 lives this time, and it's vanilla shuffled west and vanilla shuffled east. I don't think you've seen any 1-up drops either.
We have 1-ups are in the large enemy pool. They don't appear to be that common, but we've seen at least a couple. Dr. J, in fact, right now has gotten himself back up to 2 lives. After taking that lava bath, he did pick up a 1-up just by thundering his ways through these rooms.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's your biggest getter, brain. It's been a long night. I've been hearing beeps for quite a while.
Yeah, and I have to imagine Dr. J is making his way through to the bridge. Don't exactly. I know it's all the way to the east, but the connection to it goes through quite a few pass-throughs. Okay, yep, he has found it.
Bob, in the meantime, saying, I think this is fine. Yeah, with this sheet of green.
Yeah. It's sad to do that much of 6 and not find what it's looking for, but at the very least, 5 still has an unknown item where Bob knows what the item in 6 is, and while he could turn the item into Get Spell and then turn that spell into an additional item in New Casino, that's a lot of walking versus just getting a new item.
Yeah, alright. Anyway, the rune here for Dr. J on just south of the River Devil are going to pick up shield, and I think no, they started with upstab. They didn't start with downstab this time.
Yeah, shield ordinarily I would say shield is the best safety that you can get for a 1 heart seed, but it's actually a real puzzler whether you want to proactively use your magic on shield or just thunder everything in sight with the fire spell.
Ooh, here's P3 south around the River Devil Road as well, yeah.
Ooh, and Dr. J gets a 1-up at the entrance. It's going to help a lot. Hopefully this 3 isn't nearly as mean as our 5 and 6 both have been.
Yeah, they're hoping for some more accessible palaces, because their palaces 5 and 6 are brutal. Neither of them have actually beaten 1 either. That one is usually reasonably beatable. It's better than 5 and 6 at least.
I did see when Bob had taken a dip in, I'm fairly certain at this point, and I'm trying to rely on both my memory of Dr. J and Bob's routing in 1, I think it's glove blocked.
That would explain why they bailed out of it, both of them, because Glove was late.
Yeah,
Yes, Mirai, both the West and the East are vanilla shuffled. They're not happy about it.
and none of the connections are easy either. There's a real easy way to get to the northern side of the East. But if you want to get to the southern side of the East, your choices are go to Death Mountain, go all the way through a caldera Death Mountain to get a bridge pass through, or go all the way to Death Mountain, go all the way through Death Mountain to find your flute.
In other words, you're taking Death Mountain one way or the other.
Yeah, it's technically not required, though. Bob the Elder has found where Maze Island is, and that's where the glove and GP are. So in theory, you could just do Palace 1, 5, and 6, get your glove for Maze Island and go, but
5 and 6. 2 lives and 1 heart is... they've tried. To their credit, both runners have tried 5 and 6. Success rate, not high.
Yeah, and with Palace 1 being what we believe to be glove blocked, you're going to be forced to double dip that Maze Island run anyway.
Yeah. And I don't hate the Z2R community. I roll this type of disaster just as often for OTR. The Star CD mode it comes from me being terrible at OTR as Dr. Jake has looped back to start.
Well, good side here. He started off by going down and left, and it went through a more or less linear loop and took him back to the beginning. If he just goes down and right, that should lead to the rest of the palace, but Dr. J has decided he doesn't like this one. He's going to look elsewhere.
Our tracker is noting internally that it's actually glove blocked. Yipes.
Ooh, I didn't see. So yeah, if that's glove block too, it's tough because for Dr. J, he thinks, okay, I've just cracked open a whole bunch of new areas. I can look around. I'm going to find my glove somewhere in one of these. Or at the very least, connection. Okay, he's found Palace 4. But the truth of the matter is, his connection to Maze Island, which is where he needs to go to get that glove, is more or less right at the start.
Vanilla GP location is there 4 is. Okay, so this 4 might be an idea to dig.
Yeah, I think if you're Dr. J, you've got to dig P4 while you're here. Because you're never going to be, like, it's going to take so long to come back here. You might as well dig it out, clear it. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, I would at least give it a look. With how he's been glove blocked out of a couple palaces and how this entire seed's been going out, at least looking for, see if it's worth anything.
Yeah, man, we've seen 3 palaces now that have this same room to the left. As soon as you go down the elevator, it's been this same room in 3 different palaces.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole seed.
Dr. J really likes going left in this room. It seems like a much harder way to do this.
Often, yeah. Trill's asking in chat, why haven't they placed any gems yet? Well,
they've
tried. Glove blocked out of a few, and 5 and 6 are 5 and 6. So
as best we can tell, 1 and 3 are both glove blocked. 5 and 6 just kind of beat up both of our runners, and then Dr. J has just found 4 here, and he's gonna dig it, which is smart. I like it.
Yeah,
as the blocks immediately troll him.
He's gonna have to. Yeah, he can't get out of here. He doesn't have a glove.
You could just ferry out of there.
I don't feel like.
I mean, the up A is honestly, I like this up A and just go right at the start anyway. But
yeah.
He lost a lot of XP there.
Yeah, that stuff feels bad. Karaga's RNG Nightmare, I mean, they've got that in P4, P5, P6. P2 is MIA for the moment, so that should be accessible now. Because they should have full access to the southern half of the East. Or the Sun Third of the East now.
Dr. J at least has the shield spell, so maybe with Life 6 he'll be able to endure a single hit.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, because the thing for Dr. J is the glove is in Maze Island. To get to Maze Island, you need to take Fairy Cave from the west to get to Parappa Desert to take the bridge to get over to Maze Island to get your glove to find GP. They're having a day.
Yeah, I mean, again, I keep saying it. Thunderfire just absolutely making the difference here for Dr. J. The more he casts it, the more success he's having.
Yep.
Bob has decided that going through the Caldera is where he wants to go, and that's good because that's going to be further progression for him. Either he's going to find the bridge over into the east, or he's going to find the flute. Either of which going to be a big gain. Just a dead end for Dr. J, but does get the 50-50. Grab the jar. Oh, he's going to thunder away some of these enemies first before he grabs the jar. That's smart. Yeah, I don't think Bob is manually casting thunder. I don't think he's figured out that fire is thunder yet.
I don't think so. No, I know he's still fairly new. I don't know if he realizes that thunder can be linked to fire. I think because Dash was on for standard.
Yeah, man, I missed the dash spell, but boy, fire thunder is pretty good.
Yeah, Dash is nice for standard, but for Max Rando, I think having fire being linked to a random spell is really interesting for strategy.
Yeah, also, like, if you had the dash spell in this seed, it would be completely uncastable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Dr. J, an absolutely brutal double headroom. At least he doesn't have the gloves, so he doesn't have to worry about stabbing himself into the lava.
Yeah, that would have been a problem.
And he makes it through.
And straight into a blue iron knuckle.
Straight into a dead end as well. Just absolutely wonderful.
Yep.
I don't think he realizes he's going to take this fairy over, and it's nothing.
Good. You know, we were discussing how long the seeds could take for these guys before the race started to Elendar.
Yeah?
I think this might see the 2-hour mark.
It's definitely possible. I mean, I think Dr. J, Bob's been having a rough time just getting his levels up, but I think Dr. J is going to start making pretty quick work of these palaces now. He's got most of the safeties he needs. The biggest concern I have is what on earth is GP going to look like for these guys, right? Like, if it's kind and it's just a few rooms, I think it could probably come in sub 2 hours. If GP decides to be an absolute monster, oh boy. And is this the item room? It is. It's just the cross.
Oh, that's like it's not a jar at least, but it's not a heart container or the glove that Dr. J wanted.
Yeah. So
that means we have seen all major items, we have seen all 8 magic jars, and everything that's trackable on our restream tracker, which leaves palaces 2, 3, and 5 as entirely mystery items that could maybe have a heart container in it.
All right, here's Karak, and we've got shield and reflect and praying. It's really the only strategy you can use.
Pretty much. Yeah, no reminding the runners of anything in their Twitch chats. Ignore the sirens if Bob dies. I live next to a firehouse. Somebody apparently has an emergency at 12:30 midnight.
Karak, thankfully, cooperating for Dr. J, does not attempt to give him the business. And here at 1:18, we're going to see our first gem of the seed.
And now we're in 18 minutes in. We finally have a gem for everyone. Woohoo!
And life 7, a worthy pickup for Dr. J. You're never going to be sad with any amount of life levels. Like, ordinarily, it's like life 7 versus life 8. Yeah, whatever, who cares? At what is very rapidly approaching 1 container for the entire seed. It's like, can I take life 10? So you wish you could take more life levels. Attack 6, nah, who cares? Give me life 10. As Bob, thankfully, has found his flute, he's immediately going to up A. He knows there's a quick way to the east. He can start exploring that bottom area. He's going to pick up his shield spell. Should be a nice safety.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to line up in terms of routing for Bob. Dr. J sort of finishing up exhaustively, picking up every item in the game, and being sad that it's not a heart container. Yeah, from a logical perspective, Bob is definitely in the lead. The big question is going to be the level difference.
Yeah.
Bob has had a really hard time in palaces, and unless he can get some of his levels up, Dr. J's palace advantage, while it sounds like 1 gem is not that much of an advantage, Dr. J has spent significantly more time in the palaces, learning them, mapping them out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Dr. J's got the level advantage. Bob has had the, seriously, just fun game. Fun. Nice water tile being the bastard. Or to this bit of things. Bob finding Risen P Bag Cave here, which
and off to the right there, Bob had a sighting of our palace too. It is in the Valley of Death, sort of in one of the middle areas. Wasn't accessible from where he was. There's going to be a pass-through cave somewhere else that leads to it. Or honestly, I think we've seen all our pass-through caves. You might just have to walk there.
I think you have to walk there, yeah.
It's just a straight walk through sort of the vanilla path.
Yeah, you have to walk through the old... You have to bypass Old Casuto here and then just go for a walk.
And it looks like Dr. J is going to do that, and he's going to be rewarded with, hopefully, a fairly easy palace to beat.
It's got to be P2 at this point, so but we don't know if it's doable or how nice it is. As they find Rauru, which they started with the thunder from it, so they don't need that, and that's a jar that he doesn't need.
So here's hoping there's a heart container in too.
I mean, we've seen all the major items. It's either a heart or a junk. So if there's no other options left, we've seen anything else. He
is hoping for a glove in here, but we do know it's not going to be that.
No, it is not a glove. It is either heart or junk. And with how this is going, I get the feeling it's more junk. But it is possible for there to be a heart container here.
Yeah, again, there's 2 items still outstanding. Because did we see the item in 3? I don't think we did. 3 items still outstanding. And I still hold out hope that they're all heart containers.
These runners are certainly hoping for it. I honestly do kind of hope that they find a heart container as well. As much as I love to see mean seeds, this will be an exceedingly terrible GP on 1 heart and 2 lives.
Yeah, well, also it not just for our runner safety, but so that we can finally end the beeping.
Yeah, Bob is in go mode. He just has in dire need of a bit better survivability. Yeah, Jay needs a glove. Most likely. GP usually gets glove locked. It's technically possible to have a GP that's not glove locked, but the odds are not exactly the greatest. Yep. I mean, we know that 1 and 3 are glove blocked. 5 and 6 are 5 and 6. So even if this 2 is beatable without a glove, as Dr. J takes a lava bath, yelp. Even if 5 and 6, even this P2 is beatable without a glove, Dr. J either needs to find a glove or dig 5 or 6. We know he wants to find a glove because he needs to find GP to go with his glove, but he doesn't know that yet.
Dr. J making use of a very cool interaction that you very rarely get to see, using the Thunder spell to despawn the hammers coming at him so that he can stay safe approaching through that bridge. That's an unusual interaction. That's a real good catch from him.
Yeah.
He's hunting down that Moa. He wants to get this level. No actual idea what it is, but honestly, attack, magic, or life, I don't think Dr. J cares. They're all very good right now. We could see a further reduction of Fire Thunder. More attack is always nice, but life 8, honestly, the real prize here. And Bob finds the bridge. He's sort of approaching it backwards from the way Dr. J did. And it looks like he's going to head through here and look for Hammer Cave.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we know...
Oh, changing his mind.
No, wait, he has Hammer Cave. That was the flute.
Oh, right. He does have Hammer Cave already. Why don't you check the cave then? I'm confused.
I'm not sure either. I think they're both a bit confused by these. And now we're in 25 minutes into this scene. This is a fairy or glove block for Dr. J. Since he doesn't have the glove, fairy it is.
Yep, thankfully not a hard glove block.
No. If this was a hard glove block, I think Dr. J would have been incredibly mad.
We are going to see a 500-point Mago kill. And it's going to be attack 6.
All right.
So Dr. J rapidly approaching the territory where he's going to be ending on something like 6, 7, 8, probably, maybe 6, 8, 8. 7, 8, I don't know. It sort of depends on how many levels ordinarily you'd say with 3,500 points, Dr. J not likely to get many levels, but there's been a lot of these enemies have rolled up, and he's fairly easily able to just kill all of them. Just sort of press select to win. But Bob passing through Valiant, he's going to find his 2. And this hopefully should be a good dungeon for him to clear.
And a pee bag. More nothing.
It's just this scene is blessed. It's been blessed by the official blessing of Star. It's just wonderful.
We're having a great night tonight, aren't we, chat?
And what we thought was going to be a quick 2 has certainly not turned out to be that way.
No, among the earlier palaces, 1, 2, and 3, 2 is the longest of them, and we're seeing that here.
Yeah, also mostly linear.
Yeah, this is a pretty linear one. The enemy set hasn't been horrific, at least for Jay, but Bob having less levels and less lives as well is not helping things.
Yeah, Dr. J actually came into this palace with 4 lives.
Yeah.
He picked one up in his previous palace and then grabbed one in the valley on the way in, so I think he's down to 3 now, but certainly helpful.
Yeah. Oh, Bob casting Thunder there on the Iron Knuckle and the Dyra and only getting 32 points out of it. Did at least get a jar, so he got his magic back. But that was not a super helpful use of Thunder.
Bob managing to save some magic, gets to use his glove here. But I think the biggest question, like Dr. J is likely to have his 3 palaces cleared out. before Bob at this point. The biggest question is going to be, how long did it take Bob to find that ferry cave over to Maze Island? It's been, at this point, almost an hour and a half since he started exploring the West. How much do you remember? How much was he tracking? How well does he recall the map of places that he hasn't been to and needs to recheck?
That's a good question. Like, he's probably going to spend a while wandering, as that's a 1-up for Bob. Good. And helmet head for Dr. J, finally. I think he just about full cleared this place.
Yeah, I think it may actually have been just a full clear. There weren't that many forks. Takes 1 death, but second try, uses shield and then doesn't need it, as always. That's the tradition of shield, right? If you don't cast it, you're going to get hit immediately, and if you do cast it, you do the room flawlessly.
Yep, because that's just how it goes.
And it looks like, Bob is taking a much more direct route, and he's going to find the boss immediately.
So that's good for him. He shouldn't stick around to find the item in here, we hope.
A little bit of confusion. Accidentally cast Thunder. I think he's probably looking for shield.
Yeah, miss menu there.
We'll see where Dr. J goes. I know.
I wouldn't try to jackhammer helmet head. Just.
Yeah, jackhammer's a fast strat, but it's certainly not the safest when you're on 1 heart. So, curious. I think Dr. J, if he's coming up this way, he's probably just going to walk it off, go back to the west, and then try to clear 5 or 6, probably, if he thinks that Palace 1 is glove blocked.
I think he might at this point just take the risk, although who knows how much he remembers of 5 or 6 at this point as well.
Yeah.
If he remembers 5 or 6, it wouldn't be a bad idea. He has seen a decent bit of it.
Yeah, especially 5. I think he explored at least like 10 or so rooms at the start.
Yeah, it might be worth it at this point. Though he still needs to find Maze Island, so he might prioritize finding it.
Yeah, at this point he knows Maze Island is GP though. So it's one of those things where you need to do it eventually, but you also need to clear a palace eventually, so you might as well clear the palace first, then look for GP, because if you find it, you're done. You can just stop there and go dig for Darklink.
Yeah.
And looks like he's gonna make his way into the swamp, which does not tell us at all whether he's going to 5 or 6.
Because they're both here. Bob is close. There we go. Okay, takes that down to another level.
And 6, maybe? Nope, he's just resetting his encounters, and he's going to go to 5.
Yeah.
I like this play. He knows a decent amount of it. And he knows that while there are a lot of threats early, they're very easily bypassable with this Fire Thunder.
Yeah, Dr. J at this point I would say is in the lead. Yeah, Trails, unless he spends another 15 minutes wandering around trying to find his way to Maze Island. I hope he doesn't, at least. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely possible, right? I mean,
if he just manages to completely lose track of the Western map, which is possible after an hour and a half of this seed.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, worst case, he doesn't remember anything in the West. He's got to recheck everything. That can take 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, but with Bob still seriously struggling at survivability, and I don't blame him. He's still fairly new, and this seed is terrible for survivability.
This is maybe the least new player-friendly seed I've ever seen.
This is pretty horrific. It's not a 6-gemmer, Elendar. There is that.
6 gems might honestly be a blessing at this point for the extra experience.
True.
Although Dr. J is going to hit pretty close to 888 here on a 3-gemmer anyway.
Yeah. This has been pretty brutal. They did at least start with Thunder Fairy Reflect.
Yeah, and again, the absolute blessing of this seed, especially from Dr. J's perspective, has been making a lot better use of it, is that Fire Linked Thunder has allowed him to just absolutely nope out a lot of the more difficult combats. And that's a big part of the reason that he's so far ahead on experience from Bob.
Yeah, because Bob just has never realized. I don't know if he knows that Thunder is a possible link to a spell.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of casting Thunder, but unfortunately paying full price. It's in the neighborhood of 60 points instead of 11.
Yeah, and that hurts. On a seed this miserable for combat, you want as many. That Fire Thunder has really saved Dr. J from a lot of headaches. It hasn't saved him from a glove headache, but it has saved him from other things.
And when he gets into GP, it's going to save him from a lot more because, oh boy, will there be Bird Knights.
Oh boy. I don't know how much the magic he is making as far as differences go, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's certainly something. It's certainly a thing that Bob has to keep in the back of his head, but I don't think we've seen too bad of setups as far as keys go.
I don't think so. I think Bob's mostly been okay for keys. It's just survivability and the ability to get past enemies and get levels has been what's killed Bob. Fairly literally. Yes, well, we've seen a lot of game overs.
Dr. J deftly making it past the awful any type of flying heads plus lava combo. Ooh, and another extra life pickup. Nice. It's a little quick to see, but you could hear the audio chime giving us a temporary reprieve from the beeps.
Yep. The glove is in Maze Island, and to do that, Dr. J needs to take the fairy cave. I have also forgotten where it is at this point, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think at this point the only person who's where it is Bob.
Yeah, you need to take the fairy cave in the west from somewhere to get to Parappa, to get to the bridge, to get to Maze Island, to find the glove and GP, as well as the last magic jar.
Which, honestly, not a terrible pickup either.
No.
Every additional cast you can get of Thunder is a Bird Knight you don't have to fight.
Exactly. Here's Guma.
Alright, this was a long walk to Guma, and it's precarious because I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised even with the shield spell if this is one-hit KO.
Guma does like to do that, yep.
And attack 6. Not doing great. It's okay. Guma just rolled a little bit up. Safe strats, getting his dabs in, getting his distance. I like it. And that's going to be our third gem here for Dr. J. And now begins the biggest question for him. Where's Maze Island?
There is Maze Island. 137-15 there.
And hopefully this is Life 8. It is. Excellent. 6, 7, 8 is a very well-balanced, in air quotes, set of levels for him. Again, as many like life levels as you can get would be better, but it turns out 8 is the maximum.
Yeah.
And despite all that, we didn't see the item in 5. So Dr. J is going to be headed into GP with 1 container.
Yes, he is. I might need to go dig Z2R out for the items in 3 and 5. We've seen every overworld item.
Yep.
Alright, time for Dr. J to do a great wonder. We can see his face given our commentary page, and he's got a thinking face going.
Yep, and at this point,
Chat, can you hear us now? Hello? Okay, hey! Thank you guys.
Hey.
Wahoo! Just had to turn the bot off and on again effectively. Had to kick it out of the Discord and then bring it back in.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dr. J has found his way on. I mean, he doesn't know where the path that he needs to take to get to the Maze Island is, but unfortunately, he's made his way onto the east, and this is gonna be a waste of time. Hard containers could theoretically exist, Drosy. We haven't seen the item from 3 or 5.
Nope.
But that's it. Those are the last remaining 2 items in the seed. And given Dr. J's situation, I don't think he's likely to check either of those spots.
I don't think so, no.
Bob's put another attempt in on Helmet Head here. Just barely. It's a little difficult from the right. Takes a death. Thankfully, not a game over. He'll be able to give it another attempt. We didn't. The item in 6 was the trophy.
Yeah, that got that hinted forever ago.
Yeah, I don't know if Bob ever ended up picking that trophy up, but Dr. J did, and he was able to turn it in for the spell and convert that spell into a useless, I believe, small key.
Yeah, we saw the item in 2. It was a P bag per notes.
I don't think we've seen the item in 3.
No, I don't think so.
I think we might have seen the item room. I think when Dr. J was in there the first time, it's hard to remember. It's been a long scene. I think he may have died in the item room. It's hard to tell. He died very early in it, but Bob is on the board now, having taken down Helmet Head.
That's good.
And the clock is ticking for Dr. J. He's clearly ahead right now, but until he finds his connection to Maze Island, every minute that he spends looking at it is a minute Bob's spending catching up.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have that information, so once he's placed his 3 gems, he'll be off to the races.
And Bob does have the glove, so he does have a little bit more options. It's not digging out an really awful 5.
Yeah, I don't think if I'm Dr. J, I don't think I'm going to go looking for the glove until I've already found GP.
Yeah.
A, you don't know if the glove is even required, and B, GP is on Maze Island at this point, so there's 2 items. You might as well find GP and hope it's there. But Dr. J is gonna finish, pretty much exhausting all of his available paths on the east relatively soon, and hopefully he goes back and starts to take the same approach on the west.
Yeah. Because there are only so many routes. It just will take Dr. J some minutes to figure out that he's taking every route possible.
The other advantage that Bob has here is he'll be able to clear out these glove black palaces. We know one is glove blacked, and we believe 3 is glove blacked as well. Being able to do 1 and 3 instead of 4 and 5 is a huge gain in terms of time. But Dr. J going through Darunia here? Maybe he just wants to fill up his magic and head out. Yeah, he just wants to refill his casts of thunder. Yeah, in the vanilla all other biomes, boots allow you to walk on any water, but in the vanilla biome, the only water you can walk on is specifically the water that is walkable in vanilla.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that means in the west, the boots do nothing, and in the east, they only allow you to pass from the central to northern segment and check the 2 locations off by vanilla Palace 4. Yeah. Palace 5, excuse me. Dr. J checking these bridges. The bridges in the east don't take you anywhere ever. There's only the one bridge in the west that takes you anywhere. And honestly, the fact that that bridge transports you is like it makes sense when you look into it, but the only reason that it does that is it's in every other bridge in the game. When you've gone through the bridge, you start at you go in one tile and you come out of that tile. But the bridge all the way in the south, in Vanilla West, for some reason was programmed so that you come in on the west end of the bridge and you exit on the east end of the bridge. You don't actually walk across the bridge on the overworld. And because of that, the exit and the entrance are separate tiles. And since they're programmed as separate tiles, when the randomizer hits it, it warps you to separate tiles.
Yep. And why is that my Zone connector? There's the whole thing there. But yeah, we are presently in. Okay, so this was a glove blocking question for Bob. Dr. J got locked out of earlier, I think. So we'll see if he can find himself a Rebo here. Dr. J is, in the meantime, I think, has finally concluded that it is not in the east and is back on the west. Wahoo.
Yeah, he did, in fact, complete his survey of every passable location in the east and is going to extend his efforts here to the west. And thankfully, we know that is eventually going to pay off.
Eventually. It just might take him another few minutes. Dr. Bob taking another, I think, taking a fall, and I think that would have been game over and decided to up A out of 3. Okay,
well, he knows 1 is here. That's another easy dig.
I think he's going to try 1, and then we'll see where he goes after that. This has been...
looks like he's going into the swamp. He may be saying, well, it looks like I have to do 5 or 6, so I'm going to do that one first, because 1 is not going to be here in the swamp. Not entirely sure I like this routing, but it's not terrible. But he does have to start clearing some palaces, because while it's going to take Dr. J some time to check every single location on the map, it does look like he is being exhaustive with it, right? He's making sure that he checks every tile, every spot, every location. He will not miss it. He will eventually find the path forward.
He will, eventually. But yes, he needs Fairy Cave to get over to Frappa Desert, to take the bridge, to get to Maze Island, to find GP and the glove and finish the seed.
Did we ever see the backside of Saria?
I think that might be on the island at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I don't, because
It's either Bob or Bob saw. I wasn't paying that much attention when Bob found the connector to Maze Island, so it might also be in Parappa. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because there are 3 tiles in the 4 tiles in the Parappa area.
Yeah.
So it is at least theoretically possible there's an additional pass through over to it that we didn't see. But I outside of Fairy Cave, it would have to be Saria, but I don't remember the where Saria led, if anyone checked it.
Yeah. I have faith in these guys that they can sub 4 this. I don't.
Yeah.
This is not going to sub 2, but there we are.
Right.
Finally.
And this was a different way. Dr. J found Jump Cave and went through it instead of Fairy Cave. And instead of leading to the southern end of Parappa, it led to the western end. So there are a couple different possible pass-throughs that lead you to this area.
Interesting.
Because, yeah, this is going to be Maze Island. Unless we were just wrong and forgot. But Dr. J looks relieved. He has found Maze Island. And
I thought that was the bridge tile that linked Maze Island in the west, but it was the connector cave, and I've just had a brain fart day. There's a magic jar.
Yeah, and it does look like he's going to make sure he digs this out because he knows it's very likely that the glove is here, given that it's at least a 50-50. He's got 2 spots and only 4 left in the game. But we know that he is going to find his glove here, and that's going to put him in definitely, for sure, no matter what, full go mode.
Yep, he has all the gems. He has everything worked on the tracker besides palaces, so that's because it's a 3-gemmer. And he's got 6, 7, 8.
Dr.
Once
J
he gets that glove, he has 100% of this seed and is ready to go.
Dr. J trying for the fairly difficult picking up a red jar and turning into a fairy at the same time. Doesn't hit it, but I don't think it's going to impact him at all.
Yeah, now, does anyone remember where this glove is? Because I have long forgotten.
I believe it's actually fairly close to the palace. I think it's... I might be wrong. It's been a while, but I think it's in one of the connection areas. Oh, wow! Dr. J just deciding to go straight in.
Might as well. Take a look. 150-110 entrance.
Yeah, and if it turns out the glove is required deep into here, that could be more time Bob's making up. But again, this is Max Rando GP, and we've already seen a fork. Dark Lake could be anywhere. Okay, not necessarily a glove block. I think you can ferry through that room. But Dr. J gonna head left instead. And I don't blame him. At least in theory, he would like to lock in this level at some point. Who knows how feasible that is, but...
He would like to.
I also don't know how many lives he has.
Yeah.
It could be more than 2 and he really doesn't want to lose them.
Bob taking another game over. I nearly said Dr. Bob, and that's a completely different runner. That is not either of these guys. There is actually a person called Dr. Bob Tastic who plays a few different games, including both the VR and ALTD.
Oh no! Blue Bird Knights take 3 casts of thunder to kill.
Oh, that hurts.
The star's blessing just absolutely continuing upon this seed. It's like, oh, you had cheap fire thunder, right? No.
Yeah, it helps Jay because Bob is on lower levels and doesn't know it's Fire Thunder, but
yeah,
it's still an ouch as far as how survivable this GP is.
Dr. J has seen quite a number of forks here.
He He has.
Yeah, this is a loop. I don't think he's quite realized it. This is going to send him right back to start.
Yeah. And that's it.
Oh, wow, he has 6 lives left. No wonder he doesn't want to lose these.
Well, that explains that. I would want the 6 lives too, because he's been racking them up.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he had that many, but
we know
big.
Dr. J is a big fan of walking his way out of dungeons, not losing experience, but... Yeah, Trail's informing us that apparently, I've never actually tried, apparently you can't ferry this room, but it looks like Dr. J is gonna find out. He's either he's gonna give it a try, or... Yeah,
that did not work.
Okay. Dr. J, learning by science. No, you definitely can't go over either.
Yeah, that's not variable. That's a glove block.
I don't think necessarily. Oh man, man, even then, with like 4 lives left, I'd still walk out. He's right next to the entrance.
Apparently you can't just walk out of this.
You can't walk out of GP?
No, apparently not for Trails. Jeez.
I've never actually tried to walk out.
Normally you're not thinking about it.
Who walks out of GP, right? But
the barrier will kill you. Gotcha.
Wow, the things I learn about Z2 every day.
It never comes up because normally you're not playing a 2 life 1 heart seed when you manage to pick up 6 1.
And of course, the seed immediately gives him his glove and be like, "Yeah, I bet you looked for this earlier."
Dr. J not looking super happy. I think he hit something with his fist there.
I think he might have just been happy he's got the glove, because the alternatives for him, if that wasn't the glove, is go back into 5. Right? Yeah. If that wasn't the glove, he's going back into 5, and he just does not want to do that. So he knows he's in go mode. He just needs to conquer whatever fresh hell Star has conjured up for us here in GP.
Yeah. Alright, back into GP. Unfortunately, back down to 2 lives. With the beeps.
Is he gonna go left and check one of the other paths, or go through the glove block? He's gonna go left. Some of our runners like lefts. I'm pretty down on lefts in general. But if it were me, like you went all the way out to get that glove, go use it. Right? Like, no one's gonna be mad for going right. And like, ordinarily, you're coming up at the 2-hour mark, you gotta think, oh man, my opponent's, I can't believe my opponent hasn't finished. It's definitely looking for the dot done any minute now. But anyone in this seat has got to be thinking, my opponent could be an hour away from finishing. This is a monstrosity. What happened here?
This seat has an absolutely brutal, yeah.
Okay, life 8 is enough for him to live a beam from a bird knight. That's huge.
That is. Anything helps when you're on 2 lives and 1 heart container in GP.
Yeah, because he can just recover that bar repeatedly. He's got all 8 bars. Magic 7's enough to get 3 or 4 casts of life off at least. Some more dead ends.
Yep.
I'm rooting for Darklink right behind that right at the beginning now.
Honestly, that would be just hilarious. Hi Zeklane in chat, welcome in. Is 1 heart mandatory in the seat? No, there can be between 1 and 8 starting hearts. I'm pretty sure Bob's last race was in fact an 8 heart container seat, so this is the literal, complete, and total opposite. On that front.
Yeah, the starting
that was
heart...
also 1 5 seeds. I can roll 8 heart container starts. So I can also roll 1 heart container starts.
Yeah. The starting hearts and the maximum hearts are randomized separately from each other. And we haven't quite seen every item in the seed, but very close to it. And it's looking very likely at this point that both of them rolled 1.
Yep. Once we go to interview, we'll actually go see what the last 2 items were, assuming that Z2 Edit didn't glitch out on me again, because Z2 Edit is a ROM editor that lets you view an assortment of things, including the overworld maps, which today isn't necessary, really, considering it was vanilla shuffle both west and east.
Ooh. Gonna have to be real careful. Not enough magic to cast thunder, not enough life to live.
No. Hoping that it jumps down. There we go.
I like it. He can set it up here, just keep stabbing away at the feet. It's fairly safe.
Ooh.
Still nice. All right, well, thankfully we're going to see probably a quick fire here. Take him out. He's going to try it again. I'd just fire here.
I would. You don't... I mean, he might be reluctant to use magic, but it's not... Fighting him is just likely to game over you, honestly.
Yeah, and ordinarily in a GP, especially with so many paths and you're so concerned, you want to conserve, make sure you have enough thunder to beat Thunderbird. But again, we know Thunderbird costs 11. Thunder costs 11 mana for him. But he's given it another try. Decent success so far, but it's one bad step, one bonk away from just dying. Okay, he stabbed him enough that he figures, all right, I'm done with this.
Yeah. Oh, and here's another one. Toothed cast of thunder to get rid of the red chicken knight.
Oh, and the bot also just barely not one-shotting at life 8.
Oh.
Kingbot making his presence known.
Yep.
Check it to make sure you have upstab. Thankfully, our runner started with it here.
Yeah, they did start with upstab. And thunder, fairy, and reflect. Some of the few mercies of this seed. Alright, got one of these fun rooms. Waffles and syrup. And a giant bubble.
Yep. Dr. J deciding, nope, we're taking the high road here. You can stay in jail.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do not want to let it out. Okay, that's just a regular MOA. That's actually not too bad as far as these rooms go. They can be chicken waffles and syrup, and those ones really suck.
Yeah, spicy chickens just can be absolutely brutal depending on where they spawn in the waffle.
Yes, they can.
And Dr. J continuing to dig in this left and continuing to find more lefts here in the upstab skip prevention room.
Yep, this is an upstab block, and somebody in the community was diabolical enough to create it so people couldn't do the upstab skip.
It's important to keep runners honest.
It's also glove block, which the originals are not. Okay, so also happy 2 hours, everyone. Not a common sentence for Z2R, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, we were sort of doubting the possibility of a sub 2 hour for a bit here, but I think honestly, still could have been very in the cards for Dr. J.
If he'd found Maze Island earlier, it was possible.
Yeah, or even, got a little bit luckier here at GP. He's gone through a lot of rooms, and they have been very useless.
Also getting an extra life, which is very nice, and not getting knocked into the pits by those chicken knights was where that was going to happen. Emoji room!
Yeah, just the worst thing you can find in GP is lefts that lead to more lefts.
Well, either this is the weighted Dark Link, or this is the longest dead-end route in the world, and I can't tell which.
I mean, absolutely, the path to Dark Lake could just be, go down the elevator at the start, go right.
Yeah. It could absolutely be that glove block room that right at the start of GP that Dr. J noped out of.
And Dr. J does get the spicy chicken caught in here and, repeatedly stab at his feet.
It's taking a lot of hits. Jeez. There we go.
And there's always the possibility if he shoots a fireball when he's in the air and it does the backtrack, you can still get hit from that trap.
Oh boy, here's T-Bird.
Dr. J had a very sour taste in his mouth at the possibility that this T-Bird may be required, and he's going to cast Shield, but I can't imagine he's going to be able to live a hit.
I think he might have cast Reflect as well.
Yeah, Reflect's a good cast, but
I still doubt he's going to be able to survive a hit. Yeah, T-Bird is still T-Bird, even on Life 8.
Just don't get hit.
Easier said than done.
He's working well for him so far. He's getting a few hits in, starting to get his pattern under control. Just take it easy. Keep your pendulum going. 2 hits a cycle. It's working well for him. He's starting to get a little out of control, but he's resetting it.
Dr. Bob, sorry, wow, Brain. Bob, still in P5.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of luck in P6, and
is a death for Dr. J.
Hey, he got pretty close. Thankfully, that 1-up is going to give him another attempt here. He's having a hard time keeping his pendulum at the start here. He's just doing stand underneath him and stab him strats, and it does work, but it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good reset. He's got him down to half.
Hey.
Yeah, Dr. J takes Thunderbird down.
GG.
And there's a 50-50 chance that this is the required path. I have 50% chance that it's definitely required, and and of course, this wouldn't be a start scene if it weren't immediately a dead end. That's this scene.
That's the scene. Yep. Gets her T-Bird, finds out it's dead end, and turns around.
Great work, good T-Bird. Turn around.
Yep. Then gets hit by a bot on his way out for the trouble.
Yeah, so possibilities still remain. There was an elevator room earlier where Dr. J he went up, and it led him to a paperclip that took him left. He could have taken, there was another left there. And I think the other possibility for us is, as previously mentioned, just go right at the start. He's got the glove.
He did go to the trouble of finding it.
And we're rapidly running out of possible rooms here in GP. Still probably a good 10 to 15. I haven't been counting, but a decent number still available. But he is exhausting quite a few of them. Redbird Knight giving him a bop, but thankfully not into the lava. And he could take a beam, but he can't take a hit from the body. And honestly, that may be the best thing that could happen to him, because I would be shocked if he didn't say, all right, screw it, I'm going right.
Please go right, Jay. We'd like to see this right.
And I want to see Dark Link immediately right here. Nope. All right. No commentator's blessing. Still, just a nice, easy, empty bridge for him to walk across.
Okay,
we're one beer bridge off.
Thank you, Dr. J. Finally finding Dark Link and gonna finish out the scene, put the beeping to an end, and end this race.
I mean, even with Shield Spell, Dark Link can still kill you.
That is true.
he's got. Oh God. Okay, life is apparently extremely cheap. Even if he takes a couple bops, he can just keep repeatedly refilling that half a container. And with an official race time of 2:08:06, Dr. J has put the beeping to an end.
Thank you. 20806. Bob is still going. Or not, he's paused now. I think he's also called it quits.
I don't blame him. This scene is certainly something.
Yeah, they have both called it quits.
We can see we can get either of them in here for if any of them feel about like coming in for an interview or they're just waving their hands of the seat. I wouldn't blame them either way.
I'm just chuckling at them both in chat. Bob's reaction was, oh, thank God, great job. And Dr. J's comment on this scene is, I don't even want to think about this scene again, XD. And also, I think the scene speaks for itself. Really, those words are largely unrepeatable on broadcast. So yeah, I don't think either of them are joining in this for an interview. I don't blame them. This scene was bad.
Yeah, it was rough. It was definitely difficult. Certainly not friendly for really any runners, but especially not extremely experienced runners.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a slugfest. Alright. Going to actually dig Z2 edit out. Let's see if I can find the items in 3 or 5. Give me, P3 was easy to find the item in. P-back. Fries. Not. So P3 was the P-bag. I am now clickety-clacking my way through 5. And that was also a P-bag. No hearts in the seed. Yippee.
Of course. Of course. That's just how it had to be. If there was a hard container, it might have ruined it.
Yep. But yeah, no, neither of these shadows are enthused. They're just like, heck with this seed. Bob's Dr. J is just not in. They're both just not pretty tilted and pretty mad over how this went. I don't blame them. 2 hours and 8 minutes is a long seed here. Bob's opinion on me telling them there were no hearts at all in the seed is, dear God.
Reasonable.
And I'll let Bob know about Thunder. Yeah, Jay's had a really lousy average. Fighting GP and Glove, losing 4,000 experience, and then just losing him, and then you get GP, and also just spending 10 plus minutes just wandering around trying to find his way to Maze Island. It was a rough day.
Yeah, and then GP turning out to be, super long in theory and 3 rooms in reality.
Yep, as GP does. Oh man, that felt bad though. Fighting, coming in, finding the glove block, losing his extra lives, leaving, coming back, and then not checking the glove block, and well, 10 plus, almost 20. He spent an hour. He spent 17 minutes in that GP, and he finally got back out of it much later. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say. If Chat
Nope.
wants to see the runners discussing a seed between themselves, they're both too mad to discuss it in voice. I don't blame them. They're just poor Bob is okay. So I told Bob about the fire thunder thing. Yeah, because he did have trouble getting levels due to survivability, and he forgot to check apparently because fire was as expensive as thunder for a while, so he just didn't check and then he just forgot about it later, and he's not happy
Yeah,
with himself over that. I don't
that makes
blame him.
sense. All right, well, I think I'm gonna call it for the night. I gotta get to work in the
I
morning,
think I
but
am as well. It is late. I am falling asleep at my desk a bit.
yeah, well,
Uh,
GG's to both our runners. Thanks to Star for giving us this monstrosity of a seed.
yeah, apparently Bob took 62 game overs according to his star screen. I am not surprised. But GG's to them both. Bob, Dr. J taking his second win, and Breck and Swiss has a chance to still make brackets if he wins his match next week. Fortunately, Bob is now out of the tournament, so you do need 3 wins to make brackets, and he's now at 3 losses, but we hope to see him play one last race next week just for the fun of it. Hopefully, they both get something that's a little nicer than this. This was pretty bad. 22 game overs for Dr. J. That really made a difference. Jeez. Uh, Shoutouts to our runners, Dr. J and Bob, who suffered through 2+ hours of this fiasco. Jeez, guys. Give them both a follow. Thank you, gentlemen, for keeping me company. This was and to BT Slacker for doing the checking. This was a heck of a seed. And thanks to everyone in chat for watching this one. This shall be it for us. So currently, this is not being restreamed. But Vic Slamour and Victor Santa Fe are presently racing each other. So you guys can check that out. If I can type their names. We're also, I think we're going to go over though and raid ZSR3. They are doing a LTTPR, another LTTPR Alt 80 Keys tournament restream. Round brackets round 1, game 2 between Allison and Vextifer. We'll see how that's going. And call it a night. Thanks a lot. You've got coming up ahead on the ZSR schedule before I totally forget about it. We've got to that LTTPR race. Tomorrow we've got the Z2R Weekly. Got a Random Settings League season. OTRC Random Settings League season 4 / match restream between Ryukin and Cola on Friday, and then we'll have more Z2R matches added to the schedule as they get scheduled. That'll be it for us. Thanks for watching, all. Have a good night.